Good day. My name is Casey Broom. I'm a PhD student at the South African Institute for Aquatic Biodiversity. Today I'll be speaking to you about the Rondegat River and how it has recovered from a non-native predatory fish invasion, and how we can use underwater video to monitor the system and others like it in the future. South African freshwater systems face a large number of threats. The main threats to these systems and our natural freshwater ecosystems are introduced alien fish species such as black bass, carp, and trout. Other major threats are habitat degradation through habitat destruction, pollution of waterways, loss of connectivity through dam building, and water abstraction. In addition, many parts of the country have regular water shortages as a result of droughts. A particularly imperiled region is the Cape Fold Ecoregion or CFE, which is notable for having a very high level of endemicity, with many of our native fish species having extremely restricted distributions within this area. In addition to all the threats I highlighted previously, the region is home to many species that are likely to be highly or critically vulnerable to the effects of climate change, shown here on the map to your right. Within the CFE, the Rondegat River in the Cederberg Mountains is a particularly special river. It flows into the Clanwilliam Dam, from which alien predatory fish species, particularly smallmouth bass, were able to invade. However, this river also suffers from threats of water abstraction, habitat degradation, and sedimentation, and thus is useful as a microcosm of the CFE river situation in general. What's unique about this river is that it was the site of a collaborative alien fish eradication program in 2012. Following extensive research and environmental impact assessment to make sure that impacts on the indigenous fauna and flora would be minimized, an ecocide called rotenone was used to treat the lower 4 kilometers of the river below a natural barrier, where alien fish species had displaced or eaten almost all remaining native fishes. The graphs on the left and center of your screen show how, prior to 2012, native fish species were almost completely absent. Following the intervention, native fish species have successfully recovered and recolonized after non-native predators were removed. Since 2012, SAIAB researchers have been monitoring the recovery of the fish community in the river regularly, using a combination of pike nets, snorkel surveying, and underwater video. The Rondegat River fish assemblage consists of two small minnow species, the Clanwilliam and fiery redfins, as well as the much larger Clanwilliam yellowfish. The Clanwilliam redfin is classified as near threatened, and its entire distribution is less than 200 square kilometers. The fiery redfin has only 5 known populations and is listed as endangered. The Clanwilliam yellowfish is recognized as a flagship conservation species and is the largest cyprinid fish found in the CFE. During the alien fish invasion, both redfins were completely eradicated through predation in the invaded area, and only adult yellowfish could be found, as juveniles were eaten by bass as well. In addition to these more conspicuous species, the river also hosts the Clanwilliam rock catfish and Cape Galaxius. I'd like to speak a bit about the advantages of underwater video for river restoration projects and monitoring. Underwater video has many advantages as a monitoring tool in clear water systems, especially when dealing with sensitive or vulnerable species. Camera systems can be deployed relatively rapidly, with 15 to 20-minute deployments at a site being sufficient to get a reliable estimate of the fish abundance. This allows researchers to cover a large number of sites across a river in only a few days of fieldwork. On the Rondegat River, a group of 3 fieldworkers can cover 50 sites across 20 kilometers in only 4 days. To get a measure of relative abundance, called max-n, one can count the number of fish until the maximum number in one frame can be counted, and this can be done for each fish species present in the site of interest. It is possible to count fish manually without the aid of specialized software, but it can be easier to keep track and extract useful information using software such as Event Measure. Recent work based on abundance data from underwater video revealed that the Clanwilliam redfin and Clanwilliam yellowfish populations have recovered, while the fiery redfin is not yet at a stable equilibrium and may require future interventions to fully recover. In addition to the monocamera systems shown before, stereocamera systems are useful to measure the length of fish, which is useful for information about age, growth, and population dynamics without physical handling. This is a big advantage over traditional catch, measure, and release methods such as nets, traps, and electrofishing, which can be stressful or damaging to sensitive fish and is time-consuming in the field. At the bottom right is an example of data taken from underwater video using calibrated stereo cameras and event measure software to measure fish in the wild. Underwater video can be used to assess fish habitat use and give us insights into fish behavior. Here we see a typical scene in the Rondegat River. And here we have a scene from the pristine upper parts of the river, which is currently protected and was never invaded. This is where fiery redfins are still found in larger numbers. Sometimes fish do show interesting different behaviors and interactions with novel objects in the environment, such as this Clanwilliam redfin investigating the camera and scaring itself off. And here's a scene from Skilderkrantz in the Eastern Cape, showing some very curious Cape Copers. I hope you found this case study and a dive into novel ways of looking at freshwater conservation interesting. I'd just like to thank my host institutions, my field and lab buddies, and of course our dear Professor Olaf Weil, who drove the Rondegat project from its inception, inspiring a generation of freshwater researchers. Thank you and go well.